if you're struggling to fit in creative time, you're not alone. With work and kids and walking the dog, well, it's a lot. But it is possible to create even with a busy life. I wrote my first novel on the toilet, and on the train, and in the green room between arias. I used to be an opera singer, long story. And I promise you, I'm not the only one. So here are 5 productivity hacks that actually work for creatives, and I bet at least one of them is new to you. Because these are things that I use myself. They're not pulled from the same tired corporate playbook. Creative people ultimately look at the world differently, and we need different advice that works for us. And in case you're wondering, I sold 3 stories and an 8,000-word RPG adventure in 5 months last year, while working a full-time job. So I am living proof that these hacks work. So if, like me, you're looking to fit more game mastering, writing, and creative habits into your day, here are 5 productivity hacks designed to actually help creative minds and reach your goals, even with a day job and a ton of other IRL responsibilities. To start with, I have some bad news. You will never write a novel, or finish a world, or plan a campaign if you wait for the ideal conditions. I know, it sucks. I'm sorry. Believe me, I wish it weren't true. Because the problem for most creators isn't talent. It's not ideas, and it definitely isn't passion. It's that we're waiting for conditions instead of building systems. We tell ourselves, I'll do it when I have a free afternoon. I'll focus once life calms down. And even worse, I'll start when I feel inspired. This is the biggest lie of all, because creativity is a muscle. And like any muscle, the more we exercise it, the better it gets. And neuroscience proves this. Research from the Human Brain Mapping Project shows that when we train our brain to generate ideas, both the number and originality of our ideas increase, and the brain itself changes in response. Basically, inspiration is perspiration. The more often you poke and challenge your brain to be creative, the more magically inspired you find you'll be. And if you're somebody who struggles with inspiration when you sit down, arm yourself. Start with a list of what inspires you. For me, that's history books or museums. You can do a virtual tour if you can't make a physical one. I also read books about writing and GMing and game design. For others, it's revisiting favourite movies or TV series or video games, or even a good daydream. If you need more help on this, I have a whole video on practical creative brainstorming techniques to go from inspiration to practical ideas you can actually work on. But write that list on a post-it and stick it on your monitor. That way, it's there when you're ready to begin. But what if you have plenty of ideas and no big blocks of time to develop them? Well, you might actually have more time than you think. Let's talk about microsprints. It is amazing what you can get done in 15 minutes or even 5. One bullet point of plot is easily 30 minutes of RPG gameplay. And if your players are like mine, probably more. 1 or 2 sentences is still progress on your novel. And microsprints do heavy lifting beyond their mere minutes and word count, because they keep your project alive in your brain. They reduce the friction of starting again. And that makes longer creative sprints more productive when you do have time. Every time you touch your project, even briefly, you're telling your brain, this matters. So instead of doom scrolling or checking your ex's latest photos or playing that aggressively sticky mobile game you swear you're done with, use your phone to jot down ideas in your digital notebook, or read back what you wrote last, or create a new article for your world setting. That's investing those micro moments on something that pays dividends for your creativity long term. And by the way, this is something that bestsellers are already doing. Chris Fox is a self-publishing guru, RPG creator, and writer of The Six-Figure Author. And a World Anvil user, by the way. He wrote his first novel in microsprints between tech support clients. And author Joseph Heller, best known for Catch-22, he wrote on the bus. Microsprints don't sound like much, but they add up to real progress much faster than you might think. Because just 25 minutes a day is more than enough time to make progress on a book or plan a stellar RPG campaign, even before we talk about time on evenings and weekends. Don't believe me? Here's the math. 25 minutes a day is 750 minutes per month, or 12.5 hours. That's 75 hours in 6 months, or over 3 entire calendar days. And in a year, 150 hours. And if you can't manage 25 minutes all at once, I bet you can carve it out in pieces. Research shows we spend around 58,692 hours, that's 6.7 years, of our lives just waiting around. 2 minutes waiting for the shower to get warm, 6 minutes waiting for coffee, 8 in the dentist waiting room, or 10 minutes for your food to cook. That's already 26 minutes, by the way. Not to mention the 23 minutes waiting for that friend who's always late. You know the one. All of that is time you can be creating. And you can multitask. Use voice to text to record your ideas if you have your hands full, but your mind is free. 10 minutes a day doing the washing up, 20 on the toilet, and dog owners spend an average of 30 minutes a day just walking the dog. And that's just the incidental micro moments. You can also intentionally carve some out. 5 minutes in the morning before you properly start work, or the last 8 minutes of your lunch break, or sitting in your car for an extra 4 minutes at the end of the day. You can even take a 10-minute thinking walk. That's good for your health too, or carve out 12 minutes before you go to bed. Because if, out of all that lot, you can put together 25 minutes of creative time each day, you're well on your way. But maybe this doesn't feel like a good fit for you. Maybe you don't have a dog, or the daily routine takes all the joy and magic out of creation for you. Well, creating every day is often held as some kind of magical rule, but it's not. And it's not right for everyone. Some creators work in long sessions, some work in seasons, some disappear for weeks and come back swimming. So instead of copying someone else's routine, even mine, find what works for you. Know yourself and defend that time with your life. Because creativity thrives when you make time for it and when you're excited for it, which often means anticipation is the key. Whatever schedule you set up for yourself, make it deliberately. Look forward to those sessions. And once you've carved out that time, defend it like it matters, because you are a creative and your work matters. I'm gonna say that again. You are a creative. And that's another creativity hack. Why? Because we are what we do. And according to habit researcher James Clear, embracing an identity makes you more productive at the thing you're trying to do. If you say, I'm trying to create, you'll wait for the ideal conditions. I'm a creator, and you'll show up, even when circumstances aren't ideal. This helps you defend and prioritize your creative time. After all, a creator creates. A GM preps for their sessions. A writer writes. So embrace your identity as a writer, a game master, or a world builder. Give yourself the title, even in your internal monologue. And that way, every sentence you write, every note you make, and each half-formed idea you capture isn't just progress, it's a vote for your creative identity. That creates a self-reinforcing cycle that makes creativity easier to make time for and more productive when you do. So what systems do you already use to build creativity into your day? And which ones are you going to start using? Let me know in the comments, including the things that I missed. Of course, you can't have all the creative time in the world, but if you don't know where to start, you're not going to get very far. Click the videos on the screen, I've got one for GMs and one for writers, to start your project in a way that will transform and streamline your creative process, and help you reach your goals faster without wasted time. And if you want support organising your ideas, your worlds, and your projects, Worldbuilding is browser-based, so it works wherever you have internet, even from your phone. And it's designed to help you build systems around your creativity, not fight it. So grab your hammer, and go world build.